Hi everyone, welcome back to another Cut Above with Chris. Going for another head-to-head today, using the exact same razors as yesterday, but I am actually going to take the Rockwell 6C down to plate number 3 from 4 yesterday and just see how it compares, because I think 4 was just ever so slightly more aggressive or more efficient than the Rocnel was. So, soap for today is Ogallala Bay Rum and Sweet Orange. Now, there was a question posed on Facebook a few days back whether Bay Rum was an all year round scent or just a scent for the winter time. Now, personally for me, I find that original standard sort of Bay Rum full of clove and that real Bay Rum scent, very spicy. It is a more colder temperature type of soap. It's nicer to use when it's cold outside and cold in the house. Now, that being said, this one still has the same Bay Rum. You still get that clove, you still get the Bay Rum scent from it, but that beautiful hint of orange. It's not even a hint, it's quite a strong punch of orange in this, the Sweet Orange. Takes it to a level where it can be used all year round, in my opinion. It's definitely a scent that you could use in the summer. There's enough citrus in it to get by with that. Now, please bear in mind, if you do order this, you'll see just, I think it's right about, let me see, yeah, right there, palm oil. Now, it doesn't say that this is sourced from a eco-friendly source or whatever they call it. It just says palm oil, so I can only assume that this stuff uses palm oil, which isn't sourced, I suppose, correctly. So it's something to bear in mind. If that's not something you're into, using palm oil, I didn't know it was in here when I first bought it, but to be brutally honest with you, this soap is so good. Yeah, sounds a bit selfish. It'd be better if they used sustainable sources of palm oil. And if they do, they should really put on there that it's a sustainable source. Now, I've been at work today. I've come home, I've chilled out, relaxed. I've filled in all my contracts, signed all my contract for the transit officers post, which starts on the 15th of January. I've sent my photograph, everything's all done. So I just have to turn up on the 15th for my first day now. So, a splash of cold water, that's all I do. There's nothing special with my prep. There's no hot towels and showers and crap like that. I just literally walk in the door, walk in front of the mirror, turn my camera on, splash of cold water and whatever product I'm using. So, one thing I will say with this, you do use quite a lot of soap. So all I'm doing is just rubbing this on my face. So I don't know why, but for some reason this soap doesn't last anywhere near as long as like the palm olive sticks and other soaps that I've used that are stick based. Right, I think that'll do me. All I do is I'll wind it down, and what it does is it exposes all the stuff around the edges, and then all I do is just get a towel, do that, cleans it all out, and then I just push the soap back near the top again, and I've got a nice fresh bit of soap. There's hardly any moisture on it, so I just leave it to air dry while I'm having my shave, put the lid back on it and put it away. So as you can see, I've got a layer, very thin layer of what looks like not much on my face right now, but we'll see it explode hopefully. Using the custom TF custom shaving brush from Tony Forsyth over in the Eastern States in Australia. As you can see, this one does have my channel on there, another Cut Above with Chris, and it's got TF custom on there as well, TF custom brushes. Now this is Phantom Nebula, is the colour scheme, and it is absolutely stunning. I hope I can get some sort of justice for you. Very pearlescent purples and pinks with a jet black and a silver fleck through it. It's just gorgeous. 26mm tuxedo style knot. It's actually the same knot that is in my Nero Ardija Murano glass brush, but for some reason this one just looks slightly bigger. I think it's because it's got more loft on it. So flick out most of the excess, and then just start painting on. Now this is a soap that doesn't look like it's going to do much, and then it just explodes in an amazing lather. I haven't had a bad lather from this soap, no matter what brush I use. I'm just going to dip the tips again. Look at that, straight away. Dip the tips. And again. I think if someone had to say to me what's my favourite knot size, I would probably say 26mm. I still want to try a 30mm, just to give it a go. I do have a 28mm natural hairbrush, 3-band Blonde Badger, Morrison Fondren, and it's very nice. But it doesn't make lathers like these synthetics, it really doesn't. And you can beat the shit out of these brushes, and they just go back into shape. I don't find they get damaged or anything like that. Right, I think I'm just about there. Look at that. Now, if you're not getting lathers like this from most of your artisan soaps, or pretty much all your artisan soaps, the only thing I can suggest is buy a synthetic brush, because the chances are you're probably using a natural hairbrush, in which, in my opinion, and it's only my opinion, there are others out there that think the same as me, but just based solely on my opinion, make a better lather. That's a phenomenal lather. It's maybe just a little bit more aerated than some soaps that I use, but it's still stunning. Right, Rockwell 6C, same blade as yesterday, which is the Gillette Nasset, and I'm going to start with this one on the right hand side of my face today. Yeah, it's definitely my favourite setting on this razor, setting 3. I thought it was going to be 4, but I find now that I can use setting 3. I know already that I can use it as a daily shaver. Right, Rocnel Elite Titanium. And I've got the same feather blade from yesterday, just to keep it the same. And let's see how this feels. Oh yeah, that's smooth. that feedback, wow. The feedback compared to the Rockwell is quite significant. I'm really surprised with the feedback, I still am. Alan Bosley, as he's known on Instagram and Paste and Cut. I think on Instagram it's Bosley5858 or 8558, something like that. And I think it might be the same on Paste and Cut as well, so you'll probably see him on there. Right. Oh yeah. This is what I remember from Ogallala. The slickness is just superb. The scent strength of the soap out the stick's around about a 4 or 5. When it gets on your face and lathered up, it's around about 6 or 7. And it smells great. That little kick of orange in there is just exceptional. Right, there we go, lather number 2. I have to say, I think the Rocnel side's a little bit better than the Rockwell side today, but it could be that I shaved it better yesterday with the Rockwell on the left. I should have stuck to the same sides. So for those of you out there that have probably noticed, I certainly have, I'm still waiting for a 1,000 subscriber giveaway to happen for me, to you guys, as a thank you. I'm up to 1,300 subscribers almost. But it is coming. I'm hoping before Christmas. In which case I'll run the competition through the Christmas period, and I'll probably draw like New Year's Day, something like that, a special day, New Year's Eve, so someone's got something extra to celebrate. It will be a nice giveaway. Right, Rockwell plate 3, across the grain. So at this stage, I've used this on plate 4 yesterday, which in all fairness is probably just ever so slightly too efficient for me for a daily shave. This feels very similar to the Rocnel in terms of efficiency and aggressiveness. So if you're buying a Rocnel, you're getting pretty much the same efficiency and aggressiveness, in my opinion, to plate 3. Now, with my Rockwell, I do have a side which is milder than the other on all my plates, unfortunately, but they are sorting that for me, and I'm very, very thankful of that, because I don't have a receipt for the razor. It's just exceptional customer service, something that you don't come across too often in the world anymore. Right, that was lovely. It's a little bit of shaving cream. The lather just stuck inside the razor there. It's inside the Rocnel, not the Rockwell, inside the Rocnel. There we go. So I've had to say to you, or if you ask me the question, what's the smoother shaver right now? A little bit bit of a, well, it's actually a spot I've got there, probably an ingrown hair. It's pretty darn close. It's so close that I couldn't justify buying this. There's no doubting that this is made beautifully. It's all handmade. There's no machining or anything like that in terms of actual a machine making it from scratch, an automated machine. There's nothing like that. This is all handmade from scratch, and it's spickle. It really is top work. Yeah, I think I've got a little ingrown here there. Might just be a spot, I'm not sure. Right, let's have a little bit of a feel. Yeah, there's not much difference. I think I've pretty much nailed the plate on the Rockwell to match up so that I can get a good comparison. They're both very smooth. The only real upside to the Rockwell 6C or the 6S, if you've got the 6S, is that you can put any blade in it easily. This one, you can't. The only blade that actually fits this razor perfectly is a feather blade. I've got no issue with that because feather blades work for me. I enjoy them. I think they're great blades. But they don't work for everyone. In fact, they're probably the most you love them or you hate them blades out there. I find a lot of people absolutely love them and I find a lot of people hate them. You very rarely find someone that says, yeah, they're alright, I use them every now and then, they're okay. You either love it or you hate it. Now what I will say is that it does make the feather blade feel less rough on that first pass. No, I don't know. I think the Rockwell's nicer to use, in all honesty. One reason why is it's lighter. This is a heavy razor, the Rockwell, but it's lighter ever so slightly. Maybe like 10 grams lighter, maybe a little bit more than that. So it's a little bit more comfortable. People might think I'm daft. This is a heavy, harsh razor. This is a lot of weight in this. You can see it's a chunkier handle straight up, and this is solid steel. It's a heavier razor, longer handle, thicker handle, and yeah, this is the Rockwell's a better razor for me, a better shaver for me personally. Now, Alan has very kindly emailed me and told me that he's more than happy for me to try different blades in it. He's not worried that it's going to get damaged, or he doesn't think it will. So what I'll do is I'll try some different blades in it as well. He's recommended a Voskhod because the Voskhod, or from what I've heard from Ken, a Voskhod, Ken Sus, they fit better than any other blade that he's tried in it. So I will try a Voskhod in it. Just going to touch up now. Right. You'd think I'd shave my face with the same razor. It's pretty much identical after 3 passes, and I find that with most razors that you're comfortable with and you use all the time. But I will say, it's the 3rd time I've used this Rocnel It's very comfortable to use, it's very easy to find the angle. It is heavy. You do need a bit of shoulder and arm strength to use it, I must say. Yeah, so like I say, it's pretty much identical both sides. So $300 Australian. Is it worth it? I've had a timeless razor. I've had the one blade. I've had some pretty expensive razors. Is this better than the one blade and the timeless? I would probably say it is, yeah. I'd probably say it's a better razor. It's definitely a razor you could use every day. I couldn't use the timeless. I couldn't even use the one blade every day. I found the one blade quite... It's not a great razor, I didn't find, for everyday shaving. But the big downfall for me with this is it's built for feather blades. They work beautifully in it, but feather blades are expensive, and I get 2 shaves out of them. Once I'm done with this shave, it'll go in the bin. I don't get any more than 2 shaves out of it. So feather blades makes double-edged shaving quite an expensive game in my opinion. But it's a beautifully made razor. It's got lovely weight. It's been finished off almost perfectly. There's hardly a mark on it in terms of any like tooling marks or anything like that. I mean, it's just exceptional. And I mean, as I've showed you before, it's got a very long thread on it, which I like. I like having that long thread on there. I think it makes a difference when you're assembling the razor. Comes apart nice and easy. The plates are beautiful, all hand machined, and I know that they do take them a long time to make. I think you can only make 4 of these in a week, I think, something like that. So it's an art. It's a beautiful made razor, and you're not paying for a lump of steel that holds a blade. You're paying for someone's expertise and years of making mistakes and correcting errors and mastering the craft. And you're watching, obviously then you take into account the amount of time that goes into it. You know, $300 for me as a window cleaner is 3 hours work for me in Australia. So really for 3 hours work, it probably took him over 20 hours to make this razor. I would say between 20 and 40 hours I would say would take him to make one of these. So when you take into account how long it takes to make a razor and how much money it costs you, and that you're paying for someone's expertise and someone's mastering of a craft, you're buying something that's going to last you forever. $300 isn't a lot of money really. You know, and that's if you look at it in that point of view, then it's worth $300. This is cast metal. It's then plated, and it takes a blade. And that's it. You know, there's not a lot of process goes into this. There's a lot of thinking and machinery that goes into it, but it's very simply made. It's cheaply made, and that's why they sell so cheap. But yeah, I probably wouldn't buy one, not for that price, but certainly a beautiful razor. Anyway, I've waffled on like mad there with that. Let's get this face rinse. I've just gone for a splash of Thayer's Peach today, and that'll be it. I'm not putting anything else on. I don't need anything else today. Actually, a little bit of Thayer's. This one gives me a good burn as well. Okay, a hell of a burn. I don't know why it's the peach one that does it. I really don't. Right, I'll just rinse my brush out while that's drying in. Right, so the soap today was Ogallala Bay Rum and Sweet Orange. It's a beautiful scented soap. Alright, I've ran out of storage on my phone again. My fault, I deleted everything, put it in a deleted folder, didn't delete it again, and same old shit. But anyway, the video will be complete. Like I was saying, Ogallala Bay Rum. It does have palm oil in it, so it's definitely something that some people won't want to use, and it doesn't say sustainable sources, so I'm not sure whether it is or not. If it's not a sustainable source, then it's not good practice in my opinion. And given that, I probably wouldn't buy another one, but it is a beautiful scented soap, so it'd be difficult for me not to, and it lathers up superb. I did get a slight tingle with this when I was using it today. I didn't mention it on the camera because it wasn't enough for me to stop using it, but I was getting a slight reaction to it, so just something to bear in mind. It's always, when you bring clove into the equation, clove is something that many people are allergic to. Maybe not so much to eat, but certainly to put on the skin because it's quite a powerful essential oil, and if you use too much of it in your soaps and things, it will irritate most people's skins. So just something to bear in mind if you do buy something like that, or any bay rum for that matter if it's got clove in it. Tony Forsyth custom shaving brush. It's got the old channel on there, and this is just a stunning brush, 26mm, beautiful proportions, and it's a beautiful handle. This one was custom made, and he actually designed that handle for my channel, and I think there's another couple of guys out there that have actually chosen this handle as well, and the handle shape, and one of them's actually picked the exact same colour as well, so it's obviously got something going for it, and some lucky person around the world's got an exact one of these. Not exact, but they've got a copy of one of these with the logo and everything on it, one of only two made. The razors today, the Rockwell 6C and the Rocnel Elite Titanium, both beautiful razors. I can't really talk them up enough. The biggest thing for me is price point, $300 to $80 I think these are in Australia, so you just got to weigh that up. If you can afford to buy premium stuff, buy it, because you get premium stuff, you get better quality items. It's a no-brainer, it is better stuff. Timeless, Charcoal Goods, Wolfman, Rocnel, all these razors are better than your bog standards Merkers and Mueller. Are they going to give you a better shave? Not necessarily, that's not what I'm saying, but they are better built, better quality razors, and they really stand out when you're using them. You can just feel the difference. But one thing I will say with stainless razors, they're very heavy, and even for, I mean, I've got a damaged right shoulder. It's not bad now, it's a lot better than it was, but if I'm shaving my head, and I was doing with that razor, I can really feel the strain and the ache. It's only a razor. You would never think holding something like this up for sort of 20 minutes of your life would make a difference, but it does. It does, and I can feel it straight away. Whereas when I use my Wunderbar with the titanium and the stainless head, much different, a lot lighter razor with a heavy head in it, and it works and feels better for me. So that'll be the next test. I will try and do a head shave with this and compare it with the Wunderbar, just to see how both of them compare and what I prefer, and to give it a real good go with a very efficient but mild feeling razor in the Wunderbar. Finished off today with Thea's Peach, which smells, for you out there that don't know, if you're unsure about buying it, if you want to know what this smells like, if you've got peach schnapps in your bar, if you've got a bar, well, I've got a bar, but if you've got peach schnapps in the drinking cabinet or the drinking cupboard or wherever you keep all your spirits, then have a smell of these peach schnapps, and that's exactly what that smells like. It just smells exactly like peach schnapps. It almost smells like it's got alcohol in there. It smells good enough to drink. Anyway, that's me done and dusted. Waffled a lot of shit on there. I hope it's, I've got this razor on loan. Massive huge thanks to Alan for sending it over to me, Bosley, and I just want to try and give you guys the best opinion of it that I can possibly give, because these razors don't come up on YouTube that often, these expensive premium razors. Obviously CDB, Christopher Bailey, he gets quite a few expensive razors on there, but for the most part, most guys out there are using Muellers and Merkers, and you don't see too often expensive razors coming up on YouTube, so it's difficult to make a decision on something like that having never seen it being used or reviewed or looked at. So there's no gain for me saying anything about this. It hasn't cost me anything to try it out, but it's not mine, no one's given me to keep. I'm not getting paid for it. It's just my opinion on a high-end, high-quality, handmade piece of equipment, and so far so good. I've been enjoying it. So I'm going to try a different blade the next time, which will be tomorrow. I might try a Vossod, or I might just try the Nasset. It's my go-to favourite blade at the moment in the den, I think. And the other one might be a Kai, but I'll have a look at the Kai. The Kai's a thicker blade, and I know Alan says it won't damage his resin, it probably won't, but I just don't want to put a really thick blade on you, which will be even more difficult to get off than a thin flimsy one. I don't know, we'll see how I go. Anyway guys, thanks very much for tuning in. Stay safe, drive safe, don't drink and drive, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Cheers. I don't know why the fuck I'm bouncing like this today. See you later.